Hey guys, Plasticon here. Hope you guys have been enjoying the videos. I'm trying to do a little bit more variety on my channel. Some of you guys have been like, oh, he's doing a lot of walking talks, you know, all this kind of stuff. Well, I am trying to branch out and do different stuff. Here in the future, I'm going to have a lot more time to be able to do more things. So I'm trying to kind of move that direction. Now here in the next couple weeks I do have a few things that's come up that are going to kind of keep me busy, but it's not the end of the world if I don't get a video out every day. I know this. I'll throw up a little short every now and then to kind of keep you guys, like, you know, out there interactive with everything. And if you haven't, go back and watch a lot of my older videos. I got a lot of older videos. I've been doing this since like 2012 or something. I know you guys haven't watched every video I have. If you have, awesome, thank you. If you have, go back and rewatch them. I'm sure you guys haven't seen this stuff in the ages. There's nothing wrong with going back and looking at older toys. Nothing wrong with that. You don't have to look at the newest stuff. You don't have to listen to the newest ramble. Because a lot of my older rambles, I know I talk about all different kinds of stuff, like dealing with collecting and the pitfalls and the ups and the downs and this, that, and the other. And I just want you guys to be able to understand that I'm not just a one-dimensional person. I like to do all different kinds of stuff. This isn't all about Transformers on this channel. I know if you look at the banner, it's got Lego on there, got Transformers on there, it's a bunch of miniatures and stuff. I thought it was a cool little display I created, and yeah, I want to make sure whatever I'm doing is a part of my studio stuff. My walking and talking, some of my life stories, things like that. Yeah, I like sharing that kind of stuff because it may be important to somebody. Somebody out there may like this kind of thing. So I really am trying to break out of that whole like stigma of, oh, he just does toys. Well, you know, guys, I plan on doing the video game thing here soon. Currently right now, I am still waiting on finding out whether I need to fix a couple edits and stuff for previous job that I had, and once that's done, I will be able to move everything I got over from my beast over to the other one, so that way I can actually try to do dual streaming. I want to be able to do YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I don't want to be stuck doing only one or the other, or trying to upload, because the thing is, Twitch doesn't actually record like YouTube does. Like you can't really go back and watch stuff as much, I guess, on Twitch from what I hear. I don't know. I'm still learning that platform, so somebody out there is probably going to correct me. But like I said, I am just trying to learn new stuff. I am trying to branch out, trying to not be a one-dimensional guy and say, well, this is the only thing we have out there, blah, 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 blah. I don't want everybody to think, well, all he does is toy reviews. My channel isn't all about that. That's why I integrated everything into the one channel. Because there for a long time, I did have multiple channels. Currently right now, the only thing I have that is separate from this is I have a Generation 2 channel I created that has the G2 cartoon for everybody to watch, because nobody has put it out there for anybody to watch. So I did that in its entirety. It's all there. I know somebody said I think I'm missing a couple episodes. Well, I don't have those episodes to show, so and I do have another one for my badly dubbed Japanese version of like Headmasters, Master Force, and Victory, which I'm still working on trying to get uploaded and all that situation done. That's going to take some time. Time is something that takes. And it's one of those things that I haven't gone through and completely finished yet. I think I have the full Headmaster series up now. I think I'm working on Master Force right now or something. But I'll eventually get them all out for you guys to watch on the other two channels I have. Now, those aren't monetized. I don't make anything on them. They're just there for walls. But this channel is actually designed so I can try to make whatever I can make it. But I don't make anything on this channel. That's the thing. That's what people don't understand. Why don't you have brand new toys? Why don't you buy a new camera? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you give me money so I can do that? That's simple. You want to see me do new toys, you gotta send me money or send me a toy. That's all there is to it. Simple. But the thing is I'm not collecting a whole lot either. When it comes to my collection, I'm sticking kind of Hot Wheel size and smaller. I'm not going any bigger, really. Reason being is I have justified how my collecting is. My collecting is really downsized in size and in amount. I don't like having stuff that I'm not ever going to have any attachment to, if that makes any sense. My buddy that sent me a bunch of stuff recently, yeah, I really liked the Constructicon set he sent me. The set of C-Cons, I love how wild those colors are. Those are really cool, and I do like it a lot. That's definitely sticking around. Same thing with the Brave Series dudes that he sent me. I've always wanted those. The fact that they're small blows my mind, and they actually fit in with the rest of my little undersized version of Brave stuff. Actually works very well, and I like that, and that's cool, and I didn't even know those existed, so that's neat. I like this, because I always thought they were like the big ones, and then if they did make smaller ones, I didn't know how small they made them. And I like Kabaya kits, because Kabaya kits are cool. They're fun to play with, fun to put together, and they don't normally take up a whole lot of space. And that's my biggest thing. I don't have a lot of space, so I'm not going to sit here and hunt down Titan-sized things. That's why my Star Convoy is a Kabaya kit. I didn't splurge and get the new one. I actually used to own the original Star Convoy. No, I did not get around to reviewing it. Same thing with Grandis. I never got around to reviewing it. Same thing with Sky Gary. I never got around to reviewing it. I used to have all three of those. And I had to get rid of stuff. There was a time in my life that I needed to get money, and I needed it as soon as I could, and it was expensive to sell. That's what people don't understand. Tangent time, right? Back in the day when I had sold my entire Generation 1 collection. First off, packing material costs money. Period. Boxes, the material to actually, like bubble wrap, whatever you're going to use, tape, markers, all cost money. Then, the cost of shipping the item costs money. If I put it on eBay, eBay would take their little share. If I had PayPal, they would take their little share. So it cost every time I did that. And I had to ship Fort Max times 2. I had to ship a Triptychon. I had to ship Metroplex. I had to ship my Scorponok times 2, because I had a Black Zurek custom. And these guys are heavy, and they're big, and they're fragile. And then, not to mention the ones that actually had the box. That was the kicker. Trying to ship a box with an overpack box to make sure that inner box doesn't get beat up. Kind of difficult to do, but then you're trusting the shipping. And yes, everything I shipped was in the US. I don't think I only shipped one thing over to Canada, and that was Grandis, because Proto Man snagged that off me. Because he knew. He didn't have one for his collection. I was willing to let it go, because at the time I was like, I've got to get rid of more because I needed the money. And I was like, yeah, well, he wanted it. It wasn't 100% complete. I had some custom parts I threw on it, and I sent it to him, and he was pretty happy about it. He actually was blown away by some of the custom parts I used. It actually worked very well. He's like, holy cow, this is nice. But this is before 3D printing, by the way. 3D printers at the time were very expensive and very clumsy and not very well made. The dawn of 3D printing was very strange back then. But anyway, the point I'm trying to get across is selling toys can be very expensive for just a person like me. So, is it easy to sell? No. Sometimes I have friends of mine that send me toys, and 90% of the time I try to keep most of it. I can't keep everything. That's the thing. Like, if it's something that just doesn't fit in my collection, I have to let it go. If it doesn't fit on the shelf, I have to let it go. Currently, right now, I have had to redo my room a little bit to make things work for my combiners, because my combiners are currently right now sitting in a Transformers suitcase, because I didn't want anything to happen to them. So I disassembled them, put them all in their alt modes, threw them in there so that way they wouldn't get broken. Because I didn't have room on my shelves, because I had to rearrange shelves. So I did that thing. And that's one reason why you guys haven't really seen a whole lot of reviews lately. Yeah, I got a bit of a mess back here. This is my review station. Does it look like I can review anything right now? Yeah, no, I was playing with my toys. Am I allowed to not play with my toys? Or was I supposed to just do... Oh, look, this toy does this. No, I have to break away. Heck, I've been playing video games, too. Something I enjoy doing. But I want to get around to do a Twitch thing, and Twitch and YouTube at the same time. I mean, I know you guys do. I have a podcast that happens every Sunday. And I try to make sure it's in the evening for everybody to watch. If you don't get a chance to do that, you can go back and watch them. I do know there was an issue with some of the audio on some of them with a little bit of a hissing. I'm wondering if it's my mixer. I don't know if it's my mixer. I don't know if it's just interference on my older computer, what it is. Hopefully whenever I get a chance to do this whole switch over, I'll be able to take everything I got, move it over, and then cross my fingers and hoping there's no issue. That's the problem. Most people don't understand. It's like when it comes to electronics, it's not an easy thing to mess with. Like, you have to figure this out, you have to figure that out. Is the program too hot? Is the program boosting my audio, and is that why it's... there's a whole technical side to all this stuff, and if you don't really get into playing with all this stuff, then you don't know what's going on with it. So, this is kind of a life update video, if anything. I just want to get around and tell you guys this is what's been going on. By the way, I do have a guy who's watching my shorts, and he's like, "Oh, well, your audio on some of your shorts aren't the best." Well, that's because I got a nice little wireless microphone here that works with my phone, right? Well, I have to plug this in, put the microphone on, and then use it, right? Well, that doesn't seem hard. Well, the thing is, I always keep this in my vehicle, because I go a lot of places, and I rarely have it with me. And then if it's late at night, because I'm recording this during the day right now, so I can be loud. If it's nighttime and I'm trying to do something, I'm not going to be loud. Period. End of story. Can't be loud. So, I do have a microphone thing in here now, so if I do any shorts with that, then you guys can watch it on that. I'm just not going to be one of those kind of people that's going to go crazy with all this stuff. And be like, oh, well, it's got to be perfect. What's perfect? Explain perfection to me. This is a farce, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I like to embrace flaws. And that's why Generation 2 is my favorite, because it's the most flawed out of all of the lines, except for Machine Wars, which is my second favorite. It's flawed for a whole different reason. But I like them. I like the flawed lines. I like the lines that didn't do well. I like the knockoff toys that nobody liked. I like... Guys, I don't go out and just buy Hot Wheels. You know what I buy? I buy, well, Matchbox. But I also go for Tootsie Toys. You know, the little metal things. They just had little plastic wheels, and that's all they were. There was no doors or anything on them. I go for those. I go for Kidco Tomicas are actually nice, if I'm lucky to find them. I like the Road Champs ones. I like the ones that are called Mega Movers. I don't know if you guys remember those, but these are all like knock-off brand Hot Wheels stuff. And I love that stuff. I'm a big fan of that stuff. Do I have a lot of room for them? No. So I'm very picky on what I snag for my collection, because I'm like, I don't need 20 different wreckers. I don't need 30 different of the same car. I try to get at least a couple of maybe one or two, so that way I kind of have a bit of a variety. But a lot of the ones I like the ones that have opening doors. They're harder to find. Crack-up cars, harder to find, not messed up to the point that they don't work. I have one that the wheels all jank on, and the top of it doesn't like to flip closed, and I have another one that's completely missing the hood that holds the door, that holds the flippy part closed. And I'm just like, you know, eventually I guess I'll end up finding more. Those are good junkyard cars. Like, I like to have a junkyard car to throw in the back of a truck, or have in the background, or I can have a junkyard car that has robots beating the crap out of. Like, come on. Like, it's just the whole point of this is to make things look, I don't know, sort of to scale. I know the scale isn't perfect. Probably another reason why I like the tiny little plastic army men that are like an inch tall, like the Inchmen. They fit with the Diaclone guys I have, which I happen to like. I do like old Target Master dudes. Very small guys. They're cool. I like these. They don't have to be stupid articulated. All I need is an arm to move and a leg to move. I don't need 30 joints in between. I don't need the head to rotate 50 times. Like, certain things just aren't necessary, as far as I'm concerned. To me, more moving parts means more breakage. That's just what I see. And you guys out there are like, oh, well, all the modern stuff's cool. Yeah, the modern stuff's cool, but have you guys ever seen what the aftermarket's like for that stuff? Like, when I worked at the toy store, I sometimes help the guys go through some of the Transformers there, and I'm just like, dude, this thing's completely missing like a bunch of parts, and the parts aren't with them. It can be missing like a shoulder flap. It can be missing like part of its complete alt mode, like the whole side of it completely gone. Like, what do you do with that? And that's my thing. Like, some people like, oh, well, people can 3D print those parts. Not everybody's scanning every single solitary modern Transformer just to do that. If they're doing anything, they're doing improving parts. Like, parts that improve the toy, that gives it more stuff, like better ways to hold the gun, height, swapping out a joint that isn't worth a darn. Like, I'm like, okay, I get it, I understand it. Believe me, I get it. I'm part of the 3D printing scene myself. But my biggest thing is the aftermarket for modern Transformers is kind of crap. Even for the aftermarket for like anything that's like Generation 1, Generation 2, Machine Wars, everything I'd say before Beast Wars is a lot easier to find pretty much intact. If it's not intact like this, it's probably missing the mixing drop. But you can get a 3D printed mixing drop, but whenever it comes to like a full arm, missing all the wheels, yeah, good luck finding that. You have to sort a whole new toy. And that to me is just creating more waste, because what do you do with the broken parts? Do you donate them to somebody? Do you throw them in a bin and just forget about it and act like it doesn't exist? Like, I don't know. Like, can you guys please explain this to me? Why? Like I had a lot of Combiner Wars stuff, and Combiner Wars is cool, but yeah, parts will pop off. Same thing with all the stuff from the Generations line. I had the same thing happen there. If you didn't keep them all together in a stupid Ziploc bag or something, you'd lose all the parts. And I'm just like, especially Bayformer stuff is the worst, because they had tiny little parts that would just fall off. I'm not knocking the transformations, none of that. I'm just talking about the engineering of parts falling off. Yeah, I understand you have to make it so a part comes off, but they couldn't put a pin through it. They couldn't throw a screw. Okay, sorry. My camera decided to act silly. They didn't want to put pins and screws in them because they don't want them to break because of safety laws and all this hoo-ha and do, right? I'm just like, is it really worth all that pain to get hold of a toy that really isn't going to hold much value in the aftermarket and blow up about it? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. Like, back when I sold my entire Generation 1 collection, I did not get a whole lot of money. A lot of people think you get, oh, you have a full G1 collection, oh, you could have got 10 grand for that. No, you couldn't. Not the time when I sold it, because most people already had it. No one cares. They don't want it. Good looks, that's the problem. Like, finding just a full Devastator nowadays. You can find everybody but Hook. Why is that? Because Hook breaks way too easy. And that's why. You can find every one of these guys but Hook normally intact. Because Hook was an easy one to break because most people didn't transform him correctly. You just had to pull his legs out far enough for it to transform right. You yank on it and oh, it's supposed to do this. Oops. Why did the leg break off? Oh gee, I yanked on it. I shouldn't have done that, right? And that's the thing, like if you look at a lot of stuff, now you guys can talk about parts forming is bad. Parts forming is not bad. I grew up with Omega Supreme. I loved Omega Supreme. I grew up with Ultra Magnus. Ultra Magnus was cool. You guys complain about parts forming all the time, and I'm just like, why? Why? Everything now is a parts former. Even the modern 1986 Devastator that we just got is a parts former because you have a full trailer that you have to turn into a waste piece to make it. Oh, well, you got the brand new Superior on the account with this huge chunk that makes most of the combined robot. Same thing with the Motor Master. This huge chunk of the trailer becomes part of the larger robot. Parts forming is horrible! That's the thing. They've been parts formers since the beginning. Like even G1 Devastator. Parts former. G1 Optimus Prime. Parts former. Oh, put his fist in. Megatron. Don't even get me started. Parts former. Parts have to plug onto him to make full mode. Parts have to sit in a drawer somewhere because they won't fit on him in robot mode. Reflector. Parts former. These are parts. You guys don't understand what a part is. Oops. I had this thing up here because it's helping me block out the sun because the sun is blinding me, crashing my camera. Anyway, honestly, the only parts formers out of G1 that really weren't parts formers are the mini bots. Think about it. You really start thinking about it. Because they didn't even come with weapons except for Outback, and Outback you just left the weapon on him anyway. You never really took it off because you couldn't put it in his hand anyhow, so you just left it on his back. So there you go. That's the thing. Like my biggest rant I think about a lot of the brand new stuff is the fact that they're stupid hard to get all the parts for. They're impossible to complete, and I don't know, it's just, does the toy have to feel huge in your hand for it to, I don't know, bring back nostalgia? I get more nostalgia by holding the original ones, or even knockoffs, than I do brand new modern ones. The new ones, I'm just like, I feel like I'm messing around with a normal action figure. I'm just like, I don't like that. I'm just talking about Transformers. Even like Voltron. Like, I had grown up, I had the Matchbox Voltron. I'm not talking the big one. I'm talking the small one. It didn't even have transforming limbs. All it had was firing fists. It was the tiny one. Maybe like this tall. Because it couldn't afford the big stuff. Grew up poor. Okay. And the thing is, it was cool. And then they came out with Vehicle Voltron, which I thought was cooler because you can take them apart, because he actually came apart into the little vehicles. It didn't completely do everything that Daruger did, but he did enough. Now as an adult, I found a model kit of both of them, relatively that high. They're tiny. I like them being smaller because I grew up with that stuff. Micro Machines had tons of them. Do I want to collect them again? No. I have pretty much the only sets that I really want for Micro Machines. It's just one of those things. I have learned that certain toys are worth it and certain toys aren't. Micro Machines are a big pain in the butt because you have to have a bin to put all those play sets in because they're all small. Because you have really no room to display them fully put together. That's the biggest problem I always run into. GoBots? Yes, love GoBots. Love Select Converters. Love 4-Star. Those aren't Transformers, those are all knockoffs. I don't care. I love that stuff. The Motobots, the ones with the little pullback thing, let them go if they're robot mode or vehicle mode. Love that stuff. Why did I love that stuff? Because it was simple. I didn't have 5,000 parts to have to track down. I didn't have to, I don't know, it's just something about, like, I loved GoBots more because the GoBots, I didn't have to worry about tiny little guns all the time. Everybody's like, oh, you have to have a gun in their hand. Well, the GoBots, their gun was their hand. Pew pew. Their little fists. You know, firing fists like Shogun Warriors. All that stuff. Just look at that. Why not? But, you know, I guess the biggest thing is, growing up, kind of parts for me. I grew up with Lego. That's all Lego is parts. And don't even get me started on modern Lego. Modern Lego's garbage. Don't like any of it. Let me tell you why. Because it doesn't sell and it has some stupid IP attached to it. Absolute crap. I want generic stuff. Growing up, I had Tyco bricks. Tyco was literally the Mega Bloks of my childhood. Mega Bloks came out, I would say, mid-90s. But Tyco bricks, they were compatible with Lego, and they were cool. Did they have an IP? No. Did Lego have IPs back then? Nothing they didn't just create themselves. That's the problem. Nobody's creative anymore. You know, imagination. I dislike how Lego is now. You buy the set, you put together the set, and it sits on the shelf and collects dust. I miss the days when I bought a set, built the set, turned over to the box, saw thousands of other designs on the back that weren't even in the instructions, so you had to sit there and use your imagination to figure out how to put that together. So you take the thing apart and rebuild it into something else. That, or you just combine a bunch of your sets and build your own thing. What a concept. Isn't that what Lego's supposed to be about? Probably a reason why I love combiners. Because combiners, you can do the same thing. You can build any combiner you want out of all the parts except for Devastator and Raiden. Those are about the only two you really can't do that with. Well, the Micromaster combiners is another thing. But all your like G1, G2 combiners, yes, you can swap them around all over the place, and it's cool because that's what you're supposed to do with them. You can even combine them with Metroplex. Why? It's a play pattern. What happened to play patterns? That's the one thing I just don't get with the modern combiners. Combiner Wars to me was peak for modern Transformer engineering, because you were able to create something that can combine with something else that's also turned into a robot, that also turned into a very convincing vehicle mode, and it worked, and that's it. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm really into that kind of thing, and that's just all there is to it. I like a play pattern with my toys. That's why I have a hodgepodge of Transformers, Hot Wheels, Brave, all playing together just fine over here. Why is that? A little thing called fun. You guys should try it sometime. Instead of being cynical and acting like the world's going all that crap and you have nothing to play with. And getting all mad because you can't chase down that 86 Megatron, or if you do, it's going to cost you like $80 because of inflation. There's thousands of other types of Megatrons you can get that are here in the States that you can just order on eBay or something. Do you want the G1? Yeah, I want the G1! Good luck! I preferred him as a tank. I have always been Megatron tank. Why Megatron tank? Well, Generation 2 made sense. Sorry, G2 Megatron makes 100% sense. Because I never understood why the leader of an entire team would have to be handled by his minions just to fire off and wound the enemy. Like, what happened? Like, come on, like, really think about this. Optimus Prime didn't once ever have to have someone else do that. Instead of, if they were trying to, like, fix him and get him working again, that was it. It wasn't like, oh, I need you to transform me to be able to use it. You guys not remember that sequence where Starscream had a and then he throws him, and then somehow he turns back into a robot. Like, Starscream, the guy he does not trust, handles him in his weapon mode. Why couldn't Starscream be like, throw him on the ground and stomp on him and break him and then be done with it and walk away? Come on, what sense does that make? He's noodle. He turns into a tank, of course you're not going to be able to pick him up. He turns into a tank, yeah, he's going to have a much bigger gun. He's probably going to blow a freaking hole through your head. Like, come on. You guys are all stuck on Megatron being freaking a pew-pew, and I'm just like, I liked Tank Megatron. I liked it when he turned into a jet. Prime Megatron I thought was amazing because he turned into some weird freaking jet-looking thing, and it didn't have to make sense because he didn't care to blend in. Make him be a tank and be done with it. It's fine. I think it's great. I know some people don't, but that is an argument for another time. You guys put all your comments down below. This has been Plasticon. This is me. I'm done rambling. I'll get out of your face. Bye for now. If you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe. I also have YouTube membership and Patreon, so feel free to sign up for those. I'll be doing shout outs on those for those who donate toward the channel. Thank you guys for thank you all for your support, and I appreciate everybody that has been taking their time out to support the channel and check out what I do. This has been Plasticon. This is me signing off. Peace out, y'all. See you around. Bye.